I just see people. I can't see a curve. First among equals. It's what we deserve. I don't see forces. No stress, no strain. People make choices. And I'm on a plane. Woohoo!
So, my ride report, very brief, just a quick summary then. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, it actually went from the 5th of January to the 11th of January, starting in George and going up the old Montague Pass. This was probably the worst part of the trip. Worst in inverted commas, but also the best part. Old Montague Pass is extremely eroded, a big wash away in the center of the road, but many guys have been up and down, so it's well ridden by a lot of local guys and quite manageable by anybody with some basic mountain biking skills. If you are on your own, there's maybe one or two sections that I would suggest walk in, just for safety's sake, but honestly, there was one guy there. Met 5, 6, 7 guys on that trail in that morning. One guy did it in Cannondale Lefty in 40 minutes from the bottom to the top. So yeah, for me, I did ride a little bit of it, what I could, but pushed most of the way. And because it was early morning, it was all in the shade. It was only when I got to the really very top that it got a bit hot and I had to stop. So yeah, a lot of stops, but certainly worth it. A fantastic scenic route. And then off a little bit to at Herald to the Paardepoort road up to Düsseldorf. This is a long dry section with rolling hills, nothing major. Again, met a couple of riders coming back from Oudtshoorn who had done the loop. So yeah, scenery pretty ordinary, lots of ostrich farms, but yeah, rolling hills and into Düsseldorf. So at Düsseldorf I stayed at Heisenjacht cottage, really great spot. It is kind of out of the way a little bit, there's not much there, so you have to take everything you need, but the cottage was comfortable and had a good night stay at Düsseldorf at Heisenjacht. Then from Düsseldorf next morning along the Kamenassi road to Eagle Falls. It's about 66 kilometers. Fantastic road, really fantastic, in and out of the valley of the Kamenassi, alongside the Kamenassi river here all the time. Changing scenery as you drop in and out of the valleys. Lots of farm workers on the side of the road. This first section here is a bit messed up because of the traffic from Düsseldorf into the farmlands in the morning, but after 15 k's it really is a really good gravel road all the way through. So yeah, this road really fantastic. As I said, it drops in and out of this valley many times, crossing the river a couple of times. So there are a couple of big pushes and big climbs, but yeah, no major passes whatsoever. Day 2, night number 2 was at Eagle Falls. Fantastic resort on the edge of a gorge overlooking some falls. Owner Mike there built the place in 2020. It's got a restaurant with a bar and great food, excellent deck overlooking the gorge that he's got there, some swimming pools in the river. He's got a swimming pool next to the restaurant bar to chill out, and then grassed level camping sites. Camping there was really excellent. Great place. Only thing is getting there and back. It's a 3 kilometer, but there are 2 massive climbs to get out of there in the morning. So then from Eagle Falls to Uniondale, I actually made a bit of a deviation here, and when I got to the end of the Kamenassi road, instead of going up to Uniondale, I took a right turn and then I drop down, that's the N9, then I drop down to the R62, which is the road to Jubertina and Humansdorp, the back road, which is the alternate to the N2 over here. And then at this T-junction there's a little putstall or farm stall, the apple crate, turned left over there, and gentle descent all the way down to Avontier. At Avontier, picked up the route again, and then climbed up about 4 kilometers to the top of the Prince Alfred Pass, and then a massive descent down into De Vlucht. Fantastic road as well. The descent was, the pass was absolutely stunning, and then you start hitting little pockets of forest as well, until you drop into De Vlucht. At De Vlucht there are a couple of facilities there. The Plaaskind farm stall, which has got a lot of great food, and then Angie's G-Spot, where I stayed overnight, camping overnight. A great little place with a real eclectic bar and a hot spot for a lot of the bikers that travel and people that travel through the area. From there, next morning, it was only 35 k's or 38 k's to Diepwalle, where I was going to be camping overnight. But it's a hectic climb, 2 massive big climbs out of De Vlucht, and then we start coming into the forest area here. Amazing, massive climb to Buffel's Neck. Temperatures along here were pretty hectic, in the 40s, as it was in this first leg here as well, so really hot. But this particular climb, although it was only 38 k's, this was a massive effort. Topped up at Buffel's Neck, and then it's a drop down into Diepwalle and the forest itself. Absolutely stunning, this section here, absolutely stunning. At Diepwalle, stayed at the Diepwalle campsite there on one of the decks in the forest, pitched my tent on the deck. The deck was amazing, had a little bar covered counter area, had a braai area that you could braai if you wanted to. There's a little tea room there that you can get refreshments, basics, hamburger and chips and that type of thing, toasted sandwiches. So great facilities there at the Diepwalle campsite. The highlight of the tour was from Diepwalle to Gouwe along Komse Pad. This is absolutely stunning, completely, almost 100% cover tunnel, completely covered jungle canopy, a couple of open spots where there's some fire breaks, but really stunning, and worth going all the way around to get to this point. It is unfortunately only about 11 k's long, but it really is fantastic. The road is good. There are a few little potholes and things, but the road is stunning. There is a gate at this point and at this point, and you do have to pay a park fee, because this is all Cape Nature parks. You have to pay a park fee as well as get a cycling permit. Your park fee is 52 Rand a day, and your cycling fee is 70 Rand. So it's 122 Rand to get from this point to that point. The gates open at 8 o'clock, and this gate here is manned so that if you are coming from either direction, you have to pay at this point at Gouwe. And then from Gouwe, it's a big drop down Simola. This is Simola Hills here, very upmarket area in Knysna with a golf course. Lovely little farm stall there called The Farm. Good breakfast and good food there, and drops down to the Knysna Lagoon. And then of course along the Knysna Lagoon to the bridge on the N2, which takes you up past Brenton, and instead of going across the bridge you turn right and you back up the river a little bit and you cross at the Red Bridge, which is an iconic, it's a bridge that has a water supply line on it, but it's a walk-in bridge, so you can walk across here or cycle across. And then basically we start here at the 7 passes. So there's 7 passes between this crossing here and getting back to George. There's 7 drops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 quite big passes, but not very long in distance. Probably the longest was about 3 k's, and it's averaging between 7 and 8%. But anyway, that day ended at Renendal. I stayed at Valkyrie Estate. Also great accommodation there. Was given some place to put my tent and freshen up for the next day. And then the next day was the complete of the 7 passes. Combination, there is a little bit of tar. Well, there's a tar here, so it's half gravel, half tar, with a little bit of gravel in between, and fantastic passes here. I'll put the names up on the screen. But yeah, they start off with the first one is actually the Phantom Pass, and then it's Homtini and blah blah blah. I can't remember the names of the rest, but I'll put them up. But fantastic. I was also joined by a cyclist from our local bike forum. He came up from Sedgefield, pedaled up to meet me, and then he rode with me until the second last pass. So that was fantastic, having somebody to ride with. A couple of stops along the way for coffee and banana bread. And then he backed off back down and travelled back to Sedgefield, and I continued along the way through these passes, and eventually ended up back in George at the caravan resort there, the camping resort. So overall, I must say the roads were fantastic. Obviously this Montague Pass here is completely beaten up, and it's going to take years for them to fix that. It's a heritage road, so they will be fixing that hopefully sometime, so the cars can get back onto it. But totally rideable on a bicycle, up and down. You just have to take care with some of the rocky sections. But there is a path that's been not cut but ridden, and quite a spectacular pass. The rest, the gravel roads, were in fantastic condition. There are a couple of little sections, but it's gravel road, so there is some corrugations, but for the most part, really good condition. There's some big climbs. In total, the Garmin calculated 50 climbs, and yeah, I don't have any of the stats now at the moment, but this was the most significant one, and then climbing out of Diepvalle, also significant climbs there, and then each of the 7 passes, so all manageable. I did it in 6 days, according to my plan. I did it in 6 days. Yeah, excellent, well recommended course to do. I did make one extra stop after before Diepvalle at a place called Spitskop, which is a peak, a viewing point that you can view the sea from this particular point up here. So there was also a little bit of a deviation, and also well worth a massive push up 1 kilometer of about 13 to 15%. But that's it. Yeah, Garden Route Gravel Tour 2026 complete. Unbelievable ride. Well recommended to anybody. I'll see you on the next one.